SafeRoadMaps is a website. We developed it in order to allow any user to go on the site and look at a map of their community and see the fatalities that have occurred, the traffic fatalities that have occurred in their community. So if you were to go there, if you were to go to Claremont and type in 91711, you would see a map, a MapQuest style map, and it would have a little triangle and exclamation point where there's been a fatality right on the road where it's been. And you could go click on that icon, and you would get information about that, when it occurred, how many people were involved, whether it was a car or a pedestrian, and even a picture of the roadway, the spot on the roadway where it occurred. Now that ability to go right into the specifics of that fatality is something that has never been possible before. I've been working on a variety of research studies in health and transportation, and as I started to think about the public health problem of transportation, and that is that it's the #1 killer of teenagers in the country. There's 70% of all fatalities occur in rural areas, that it really is a public health issue. But there's no way to understand that. And then I started to think about other complex issues for which there's easy ways to understand. And visual technology is very powerful. Weather is a very complicated thing, but we can look at a weather map and understand it. Traffic congestion is pretty complicated, but we can look at a traffic congestion map and understand it. So my thought was, why isn't there a map about safety that can help people understand the conditions of roadways and prevent accidents and fatalities? And so with that kind of simple idea of a safety map, SafeRoadMaps was born. We think that by getting that research out there in a way that can be easily understood, we can change behavior. And the behavior we want to change is it's not just the location, but it's what you're doing at that location. Are you speeding? Are you wearing a seatbelt? That kind of thing. And so we have what we call layers, these different layers of variables that we track. And the point is that while an accident or a fatality occurred at a specific location, the behavior is a strong driver in that adverse outcome. And we want to really affect that behavior in terms of what people are doing, how they're driving, what precautions are taken. The response has been overwhelming. 6 million hits the first week. It's continued at a really robust pace. And so from that, we've come to see what kind of features are most valued. And one of the ones that is really used a lot, one of the ones that's used a lot is the feature where you can plug in your zip code or your address and get a profile, a visual map of all the fatalities that have occurred right in your neighborhood. This has a lot of use, and people go to it all the time just to check that out. One of the uses that has arisen out of this, sometimes when we start these things, we think it's going to have a certain impact. But then as it's used, users of the system, determine what that impact will be. And so one of the areas that's arisen is its use in driver's ed, for example. And so I've been approached by a couple of major driver's ed organizations about creating a module that students could use. Driver's ed students could go in, look and do a little assignment about, looking up how many males or females in their age 17 to 21 have sadly, tragically died because of traffic accidents. As I said before, it's the #1 killer of kids, and so that kind of exercise can really be stark, and we hope it is stark, because the goal is just not to display these fatalities, but really raise awareness of individual drivers as well as policymakers about the issue of the 40,000 deaths that occur on the freeways, and how simple steps like finding out how safe your own roadways are can be a path to improving safety and reducing